The ultra-RINO Liz Cheney has imploded to 13% support as President Trump vows that the GOP will indeed win control of the House in 2022. In this video, we're going to take a look at the political collapse of the champion of the neocons, how it signals the eventual end of RINO leadership in the Republican Party, and how Donald Trump appears to be masterminding an overwhelming Republican takeover of the House in just months from now. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Wonderful to be with you as always. We're here to give you conservative hope in the midst of turbulent times by helping you to think better so you can feel better. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. We would love to have you as a regular part of this channel. Also, for all of you Rumble fans out there, make sure to subscribe to our brand new Rumble channel by clicking on the link below. And for you podcast fans, we are now one of the top 20 podcasts in the nation for political commentary. With your support, we are fast making it to numero uno. So make sure to click on that link below and sign up for our various podcast platforms. Now, before we dive into things here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of this awesome motion detector ultra bright solar nightlight. You can install it quite literally anywhere because it's wireless, and you never need to worry about buying batteries, and that's because it's solar powered with a high-powered battery storage pack. It's equipped with motion detectors, and it becomes an entertainment light for the patio and for the barbecue with the simple click of a button. And those motion detectors, they offer very effective deterrence against burglars. And best of all, you don't have to spend a fortune for any of it. If you click on the link below right now, you'll save 52% off as well as free shipping. So what could be better? Don't wait. Click on that link below or visit nightsolarlight.com and bring its light to the dark spaces in your home today. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. I've got some great news regarding updates on a certain RINO never-Trumper who's starting to see writing on the wall. Her days are numbered. Of course, I'm talking about the odious neocon Liz Cheney. Now, as I'm sure most of you know, Liz Cheney and 9 other Republican congressmen voted to impeach President Trump. 10 Republicans voted to impeach our president, despite the fact that the latest polls at that time showed that 85% of Republican voters were steadfastly opposed to his impeachment. 85%. But that wasn't good enough for the neocons like Liz Cheney. And so she and these 9 other Republican congressmen voted in a way opposed by 85% of their base. We reported that she, of course, was censured. The Republican Party Central Committee in Carbon County, Wyoming, unanimously voted to censure Cheney. She's from Wyoming. The committee also demanded her presence before them to explain herself. And they have informed us, that the fact that they've made several attempts of contacting her, she has done nothing either to receive their calls or to call them back. She's gone radio silent as far as her Republican constituents in Wyoming are concerned. So they've officially unanimously censured her. And shortly thereafter, State Senator Anthony Bouchard announced his campaign to unseat Cheney, citing Cheney's long-time never-Trumper stance along with her impeachment vote, both demonstrating just how out of touch she is with the voters of Wyoming. If you don't know, the good citizens of Wyoming voted for President Trump over Sleepy Joe by 45 points. They gave Trump 70% of their vote. Well, now the polls are coming out from Wyoming on Cheney, and they're utterly devastating. Look at this. Newsmax is reporting that the latest poll out on Cheney shows that only 13% of voters of Wyoming would re-elect her. 13%. Friends, that's called a total and complete political collapse. I mean, we're talking like Anthony Weiner political collapse here. I mean, 13%. In addition to pour salt on the wound, as it were, 75% of Republican voters in Wyoming have a negative opinion of Cheney. 60% of voters overall. Notice her approval actually goes up when you bring Democrats into the mix. But, of course, that's totally irrelevant since Democrats will not be voting for her, and it looks increasingly like Republicans won't be either. Liz Cheney is politically dead. And none other than Representative Matt Gaetz senses that. He was out in Cheyenne, Wyoming, the other day at an anti-Cheney rally, and he told the crowd that Cheney has done only 2 things since she's been in Congress: frustrate the agenda of President Trump and sell out to the forever war machine. Gates is part of 115 House Republicans who are calling for Cheney's removal from the chair of the House GOP conference. It is obvious she should not be occupying that chair since she so obviously is removed from the values and interests and concerns of Republican voters. She simply does not represent rank-and-file Republicans. It's just no way around it. And it's not just Liz Cheney. In fact, 3 out of the 10 Republicans who voted to impeach our president are already getting primaried. It's almost guaranteed that the other 7 will as well, especially, that it's been announced that President Trump has a $70 million war chest that promises to only get bigger the closer we get to the midterms in 2022 to get rid of these neocon rhinos. Rank-and-file grassroots MAGA Republicans are not waiting for 2022. They are hitting back already against the feckless RINO establishment leadership. And if they're rising up against these neocons as any indicator of what to expect over the course of the next year, we may indeed be seeing a fundamentally different and radically transformed Republican Party for the midterms. And look at this. This is too good. Mittens Romney. Look at this. Freaking Romney has an 80% approval rating among Utah Democrats. I mean, that's all you need to know about this. He is officially now what we call Diablo. He's not a rhino. Right, a rhinos are Republicans in name only. No, this guy, Romney, is in fact a Democrat in all but label. He is a Diablo. He's a Democrat in all but label. You can't even dignify this guy with a rhino label at this point. That's too good for him. For the record, only about 30% of Utah Republicans support him, which is 29% too high. He definitely needs to get primaried. But regardless, the good news in all of this is that it really does appear that the Republican Party is getting cleansed, as it were, slowly but surely, of these establishment rhinos. And that's only going to energize the grassroots to take back the House in 2022, which is precisely what President Trump has in mind. But before we get into that, I am so excited to announce that we have a brand new alt-tech directory guide called the New Conservative Survival Guide to Big Tech Censorship, which you can get absolutely free as an ebook download by clicking on the link below. Now, this is a guide that's going to give you all of the alternative social media sites that you can go to that have all your favorite independent content creators, but without any of the censorship that we've been subjected to by big tech. It's also going to give you insights in what scholars are calling an emerging post-Google age, right? It's absolutely free as an ebook download, and it's yours by simply clicking on the link below. So don't let big tech censors get in the way of your favorite content creators. Click on that link below and enjoy your own survival guide to big tech censorship today. All right, so President Trump appeared to be mending fences, as the Blaze put it, with Republican House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy of California. They had what's being called a good and cordial meeting at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida the other day, during which Trump committed to helping the GOP take back the House in the 2022 midterm elections. It's also being reported that Trump has over $70 million on hand in campaign cash, which of course will only help in that endeavor. The pro-Trump Save America PAC said in a statement that, quote, President Trump has agreed to work with Leader McCarthy on helping the Republican Party to become a majority in the House. They worked very well together in the last election and picked up at least 15 seats when most predicted it would be the opposite. They will do so again, and the work has already started. Now, you gotta love Lou Dobbs, Fox News, because Lou tells it as it is. Lou Dobbs had a very different take on that meeting. He saw it as McCarthy basically groveling before Trump, or Dobbs' words, bleating for forgiveness. He said it so well. Listen to this. The Republican Party is not only battling the radical Dems and the global elite orthodoxies of Wall Street and corporate America, but also caught in a frustrating dilemma of its own making. The GOP lost in 2020 because it refused to acknowledge and to support Donald Trump as the leader of the party and president of the United States, the single most successful one-term president in history. Amen, Lou. And so as the rhinos and the Diablos start to fall, as their political fortunes and futures begin to shrivel up and wither away, McCarthy is basically being forced to grovel before Trump because he knows Trump is the only one in the Republican Party that can galvanize 75 million voters to come out and vote in 2022, which will probably be upwards of 80 to 90 million with the way things are going, with Sleepy Joe basically offending everyone with every pathetic misstep he takes in what many are already calling the single worst presidency ever, period. So we'll obviously be keeping our eyes on how President Trump takes the lead here with winning Congress back. And to be honest, I think that's the first step in seeing what Trump has planned for 2024. If he helps to lead the way to a massive landslide victory in the 2022 midterms, we may be looking at the single most astonishing political comeback in the history of our nation. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. You definitely want to check out my latest video. I just uploaded it on how Elon Musk is sending Bitcoin prices soaring, all as the populist revolt against Robinhood storms Wall Street. You're not going to want to miss it. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.